Just waiting for this to. All right. So just to let you know, this meeting is also live streamed to YouTube, so that when people, I really do not have the time to be going over this video again. So if you find this, whatever we're going to share today, if you find it very useful, and you want to see it again, you want to listen to it again, please kindly just go on Abiosonia YouTube. It's going to be here. Bash B said, hello, my day is Cora, dialing from Toronto. Oh, all the way from Toronto. Wow, 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 wow. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I've got a couple of friends in Toronto. So we're going to start. Thank you all so much for joining. If you know anybody that is supposed to be here or that will find this useful, I will really, really urge you to invite them, send them the link for them to join. My name is Abiosonia. I coach, I counsel, I speak on topic like on mental health topic, burnout, and any other topic that is interesting and will lead to a transformation in people's life. So today, this meeting is about how to settle down well when you transition to the UK, or if you are about to transition to the United Kingdom. I felt this meeting was needed because a lot of people have arrived in the United Kingdom, and then things are not turning out the way they thought it would be, especially those with children, in terms of childcare, in terms of building a relationship with school and all of that stuff. So I thought we will come up with this. So this meeting is brought together by ASEB Consultancy, sponsored by Academic Education. And I will be speaking today, and other speaker, Mrs. Adeswa Kashiko Koronkwo, will also be speaking as well. So I'm just going to share my screen with you, and then we're going to go straight to what we have right now. Just hold on. Now I can see it. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm showing the. Sorry, I shared the wrong screen. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to so I'm just going to give you the right to admit people in. So I'm going to make you a co-host. So please, if you can help me to admit people in so that I don't keep mistaking things. Okay. So please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
I'm seeing it.
Thank you so much. I don't know why my voice is echoing back to me. Oh, no. Just give me 1 minute. I'm trying to resolve that. Okay. Okay, yeah. So can you hear my voice echoing back? Oh, damn. Sorry.
We can hear you clearly. I really don't know where you're getting the echo from.
I can hear my voice just repeating everything I say back to me.
We are not hearing it like that.
Take it. Okay, I'm just going to carry on and put up with it. So today, a lot of you might be wondering, who is this person that is chatting to me? I've already introduced myself. So for the past 19 years now, we've been here in the United Kingdom, came as a student and has transitioned into different things. Taught for 8 years, qualified in the UK as a teacher, and taught for 8 years before moving into other things. So the first thing is to cope. In the United Kingdom, came as a student and has transitioned into different things. Taught for 8 years, qualified in UK as a teacher. I cope. I can see here 8 years before moving into other. I don't know why you can't hear it, but I can hear
Do
it.
you have another device? Another device is playing what you just
I'm
said.
hearing it too.
Sorry about that. And it's really bugging me because it's replaying
Check
everything
your
I'm saying.
system. You've got another device connected. So both are playing the same time.
Fine. Hope I can hear it, yes, before moving into I don't know why you can't hear it, but I can hear it.
So another device playing what you just
I'm
said.
hearing it too.
Sorry about that. And it's really bugging me because it's replaying everything I'm saying.
You've got another device connected. So both are playing the same time.
Okay. Just bear with me. I'm gonna have to cover everything. I don't know why you can't hear it, but I can hear it.
So another device playing what you just.
I'm hearing it too.
Sorry about that. And it's really bugging me. Oh. Replaying everything. Right. I'm going to have to get. Okay. Is it better? Can you hear me now? Oh, thank God. I really do apologize for that. Okay. So I'm just going to start again and I'll get this going. So like I said, I taught for 8 years in the UK. So I've been through the system as a student and also I have been through the system as a student. So I'm just going to share vital informations in order to keep people's mind at peace that your children can go to school here. You don't have to get into any squabbles with the school or with the social worker if you do things the right way. But before we start, I will just quickly ask you this question. How is your relationship? If you're already in the United Kingdom and you have children, how is your relationship with your child's school and teacher? If you can drop it in the chat session, that would be really, really good. What is your relationship like with your class teacher? Are you one of those that just drop your child off? You don't even talk to the teachers and then you just walk away. What is it like? Tell me, how is your relationship with your child's school teacher? You can drop it in the chat session, then I'll go through it later. Now, the next question is, how can you develop or improve your relationship with your child's school teacher? It is very, very important that you have a relationship with someone that is going to be with your child for about 7 hours, even if it's 6 hours, or even if they're just going to the nursery for half day, they are still going to be with another adult that you don't really know much about. So it is very, very important for you to make the effort, to cultivate the efforts to build a relationship with your child's school teacher. Then the next one, if you have any issue, if your child have any issue with school regarding bullying or any other issue at all, how do you address these issues with your child's school? What do you do? How do you present it to them? It is very important that you think of how the best way for you to present issues to your child's school. I don't just want to talk at you. If you have any contribution, please type it in the chat session and then I'll be able to pick it up later. As we are going through this, I want you to reflect on the things that you are currently doing so that you are not just here to listen, but you're also here to listen, and then you'll be able to apply it when this meeting ends. So what do you think is the best way to address bullying or any issues at all that your child have in school? Do you just go there and go and talk to your child's teacher, or what do you currently do? Oh, okay, that's nice. Someone said my child's school teacher become my bestie by force. We started school year with a note to the teacher introducing our family and asking the best and telling them the best way to communicate. Wow, Bash, that is just absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, look at what this person just said. He said, my child's school teacher became my bestie by force. It is so important for you to intentionally have a relationship with your class teacher. Now, I'm not saying you need to ring them up and say, let's go out for a drink. No, I'm saying get to talk to them, have those short conversations with them. How are you? If you notice anything different in them, you tell them, oh, how are you? I noticed I've not been seeing you in school for a while. Is everything okay? And then you just talk. Why do you do these things? It is important that you have this cordial relationship with your child's school. There are people that have run into immigration problem that schools have written letters to support them of the need why they need to stay in this country. So while we hear a lot of negative news about what happened, people's children be taken away, there are loads of positive news as well. If you do it right, it's so important that you make that effort intentionally. Okay, so there is another message here. I'm just going to read it. Olotan Olawale said, my relationship with my son's school teacher has been cordial. Ask questions about my son's academic life and social life. Absolutely fantastic. And intentionally also show interest in that teacher as well. So for example, my child's teaching assistant, if I don't see them for a couple of days, I will ask the teacher, where is Mrs. So-so and so? Is she okay? Sometimes they say she's off poorly. When she comes back, that is another point to start a new conversation with the child's teacher. Now, before we go on, I just want you to know that your child's school, they have good interest for your child, just as you have as well. They have a good interest for your child. Nobody is there for them to want to take your child away because of your skin color or anything. No. There is not even space for them to even do that, to be honest, if things are done well. The two things that schools don't play with, safeguarding and child protection. It is so important to them. So the little things that we take for granted in Africa, in this place is referred to as safeguarding and child protection. So I'm going to go through a few of them. I think I've got about 30 minutes. If I've not even eaten into it, I'll be a little bit fast. So please bear with me as I do that. And so there are people in the waiting room, so please help me get them in. So safeguarding, the promoting of the welfare of your child to ensure that there is no maltreatment, there is nothing that will hinder that child or put that child at risk. So safeguarding, you will hear when anything that has to do with safeguarding, the teachers are trained to know what signs, if there is any glitch with safeguarding. The teaching assistant, in short, anybody that work in school, they are trained for it. They don't even need to be a psychologist. They are trained for it, for them to be able to pick up the signs, because protecting children from maltreatment is very, very paramount. Protecting them to ensure that they do not have anything that will hinder them from studying or even hinder their life. Then child protection is part of safeguarding, is under the same umbrella to promote the welfare of your child. So I just thought I should let you know this because it's so important for you to know that we all are looking after the welfare of our child. Nobody wants to take your child from you if you do the right thing. Now, observations that indicate that a child is not being taken care of well. These are the key things that you need to ensure that you are aware of. Ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance is not an excuse for you to say, oh, I didn't know this happened. Once you make that mistake, the school teacher or the teaching assistant notice any physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or neglect, they will put, that means you're going to be on their radar, and they'll keep close eye on that child. And if things like that keep building up, before you know it, sooner rather than later, the school is going to step in. You might be wondering, can you throw more light on this? Yes, I'm going to throw more light on this. The first one, for example, people might ask, is it illegal to eat a child in the United Kingdom? When I mean United Kingdom, I'm talking about people in Scotland and Wales as well. So it is illegal for a parent to smack. So we'll talk about slap, kick, push, all those things. It is illegal for you to do it. However, in England, in the part, please mute yourself. In England, you can chastise your child with reasonable punishment. So a child maybe is not listening, you can bring them closer and explain what you're saying, or you can tell them off and say, you need to pay attention. That is fine. If a child is not doing this well, you tell them to kneel down for a few minutes. That is fine. So when they say reasonable punishment, let's not use things. Maybe a child, you're calling the child is not answering, and then you walk up there, you give them a dead slap. That is not reasonable punishment. So in England, if you do that, you can go in for it. We really do need to be careful. However, in Scotland and in Wales, you are not allowed to even no reasonable punishment. Don't punish the child. Don't touch the child. They don't even want to hear it. So they passed that law in 2019 and in 2022. That was just last year in Wales. So you need to be aware of this. The way that you look after your child in Nigeria, when you come to United Kingdom, Wales or Scotland, and to England, Wales or Scotland, it is not going to be applicable. You will need to reorient yourself. It's very, very important that you need to train yourself again and learn how to be patient. And to be honest, you don't really need to eat your child for them to listen to you. So the next point is, these are the things that will bring a child under the radar of a teacher or anybody in school. To bring them, they see any sign of physical abuse, you are under their radar. You won't even know. They'll be gathering the pieces around. So it's very important that we use new ways to bring our children up. It's very important. So when we're talking about physical abuse, treatment where you physically slap the child, there is a mark there. You hit the child, there is a mark there. That is physical abuse. When you do that, your child, please, can you mute yourself if you are not talking? So it is very important that you know that emotional abuse, so yelling at a child, you are bellowing at that child, up to the extent that some children, when you yell at them too much, they start having this anxiety. When an adult is coming close to them, they are quivering. The teachers will notice that. The teacher is walking past the child and the child is being nervous and shaking. That is a red flag. They are going to pick up on it. Why are you quivering when I walk past you? And then the next thing, that child starts singing like a canary bird. Maybe this happened or that happened at home. That is not good. So for people that like to yell and bellow at their children, I beg of you, please don't do that. Find a better way to communicate respectfully with your child. And also, if your child goes to school and exhibits that character as well, it might be picked up wondering, what is this child trying to tell us? Is this child treating other children exactly the way he or she is being treated? So there are a lot of things that are under emotional abuse. So emotional abuse could be when you tell a child, if you don't behave well, I will take you back to Africa. Seriously, especially in primary school. If they go back and go and tell their teacher that they'll be threatened, that they'll be taken to Africa because of things like this, then they'll start wondering, why do you want to take them to Africa? What is going on? Why are you threatening the child? So those threats that you normally give, and we have to be really careful. Emotional abuse, I'm sure we are all adults here, that we understand what emotional abuse is. Any whip of it, they will know. Then the sexual abuse. I'm bringing this on because some people come into United Kingdom, they don't really know where to put their children. They are struggling with childcare. And before you know it, every SYZ is helping them out with their childcare. Be very careful with that. Because if you drop your child in the wrong place, well, even if it's child-to-child sexual abuse or adults exploiting a child that is left under their care, and there is any sign of it, or even allowing a child to watch the things that are not age appropriate, that is sexual abuse. So when an adult is watching an adult film, and then you expose your child to that, and they pick up some words and use it in school, or they go to school and exhibit some action, then they are going to look into that. So we have to be careful. You might say, okay, I trust this person. How well do you really trust the person? So you have to be careful before you bring your child to come and join you. You have to ensure you have good care. I'm not saying the nursery or the school system is perfect, but I'm just trying to educate you. These are some of the things that could potentially raise a red flag. Mind the things, if your child has a mobile phone, mind the things that you expose your child to watch. Because if your child go and watch the things that are not age appropriate, then this could lead into issues. And also, if you allow your child to stay up all night watching film, just playing on their games, take the phones from the children when they are not, when it's nighttime. They come back from school, what do they actually need the phone for? Because if you give them the phone to contact you, if they are not in school, they really do not need that phone with them like that. So you need to put parental control in place to ensure that you know exactly what your child is consuming. It is very, very important. There is no excuse to say, oh, I didn't know this person was consuming this. Now you're trying to say that you are negligent as a guardian or as a parent. Then we're talking about neglect. Neglect is so much. So when a child is consistently being late to school, is consistently being picked late from school, when a child is looking unkept, they have brown stuff on their nails, their hair is unkept, their uniform is not properly ironed, they look hungry, they're always taking food from other children in school. All of these things are signs of neglect to them. And to be honest, isn't that the truth? It's a sign of neglect. When the child is not looking clean, even if you cannot plait your child's hair, find a way to comb it and pat it in a way that will be neat. Use the nice bubbles to present your child well. If you don't know how to use the scraper, the shaver, if you have a boy child, take them to the barber. It's very important that your children, they are presented well in school, their physical appearance is being watched. If you see a child that is not looking well put together, is a sign. Their uniform, their shoes is too tight and you don't care, the child end up limping. Things like this, those are signs of neglect. When you're constantly leaving your child underage, nobody is looking after them. If that child go out and go and say something in school, that is it. So you have to be really, really careful the way you make plans. These are the 4 signs, the main thing that will make them raise a flag. I'm telling you now, these 4 things, they don't joke with it. It is so important that you ensure that your child is well looked after, that there is no sign for physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, those things that your parents will tell you, you are useless, you are this. You don't go calling your child names. Because when you start saying that, and that child is being praised in school, and the child say, he or she is useless, the teacher is going to ask, how come you say you are useless? And I say, oh, mommy or daddy always say that. That is it. They are watching. That is it, because that is emotional abuse. So let's be very, very guided. Let's be mindful the way we treat our children. It doesn't hurt us for us to treat our children. There are ways to discipline your children without making it go far like this. So physical abuse, hitting, shaking, throwing, burning, scarring, suffocating, there are people that are going through domestic abuse. Those are the things they will know. They will know domestic abuse, stress position, overfeeding the child, just allow your child to consume whatever it is they want to consume, and then they become obese. Obesity, if you intentionally allow your child to get out of shape, is not, that is a red flag. Okay. So, and also doing parental induced mental illness just to get sympathy or to play victim. So emotional abuse, these are some of the examples: not giving the child opportunity to express their views, You know, a child expressing their views doesn't mean they are being disrespectful. There are ways that you can, if you have a child that is very opinionated, there are ways that you can mold that child to become a child that is assertive rather than rude, right? So give the child, teach the child how to use that their behavior that you other people may see as offensive. You need to find a way to support that child that they become assertive rather than being rude. If their tone is not right, correct them, listen to them. But you correct them that maybe you should present this issue like this better rather than just shouting that child down. Give them age-appropriate expectations. See them or hearing them, you treat others, you need to correct them as well. Serious bullying, cyberbullying, overprotection, not allowing your child to get involved in anything is not good. That is all part of the abuse. Sexual abuse, we've talked about that, you know. Neglect, not providing adequate clothing for the child. Is winter time and the child does not have a proper jacket, or they are wearing tights when it's summertime, that child could overheat. You know, those little things. There'll be time that the school will write to you to get sun cream. Give them the sun cream. I remember I used to tell my children's teacher, my child is got a dark skin, the sunscreen is not needed. And they were like, no, Sonia, you need to ensure that you bring this in. I just bought it and gave it to them. And they were using it on them to protect them from that extra sun. It didn't take anything rather than arguing with them. So ensure that you make adequate provision. Ensure that the same person is picking up your child, or if you change the person, let the school know, not different people picking up your child. It just shows that there's something not right. Ensure appropriate medical treatment. If your child is not fine, don't say, oh, I'm late to work, let me just send this child to school. You are doing it every time that the school will have to look after that child for you. A child is burning, you're sending them to school. Please ensure that your child receive adequate medical treatment when they need to, irrespective of work. You need to prioritize the health of your child. Neglect also basic emotional need and things like that. And then there are other things I would like to quickly include before I hand over to my second speaker. Domestic abuse, when a child is experiencing or witnessing or hearing the mother or the father being abused, they will pick up these things and it will show. Because I tell you what, teachers are trained. When I was a teacher, we were trained. I can smell it from a miles away. You will know. You will know. So please, let's ensure that we prioritize the safety of a child, because if the mother or the womb or the father said, I love this person so much, I'm not going to take myself out of this situation. When that happens, they will take those children away for their safety if you don't want to protect yourself. So they will protect that child. Radicalization, this will come again to those people that just let everybody look after your child. If you do not look after your child properly, you leave them on their own, under little or no supervision. Those children, if they are wandering outside, there are people, perverts out there that will radicalize those children. There are children that have been radicalized from the sheep store. They're always going to that sheep store. People are watching. Oh, this child is always on their own. They radicalize them. You don't even know. They become an extremist. So it's so important that we pay attention. The language your child is using, the way your child is dressing, the way your child is behaving. When there is any behavioral changes, pick it up and address it immediately. So there's no point you start praying and fasting when you could have solved the problem before it even escalates. Then we'll talk about the female genital mutilation. I know a lot of people, some of us here may have been circumcised when we were children. But in the UK, you are not allowed to circumcise a female child. You are not. You can circumcise a male child, but you are not allowed to circumcise a female child. The people with the highest of that they are always paying attention to, the Somalians, the Sudanese, and the Equatorians, they call them, people from that area. I know Nigerians are part of it, but ours is not as high as that. Thank God for that. But we need to be careful. When you take that child, they're watching, when the child start walking funny, or the child start bleeding, when they go to the toilet is stained, or that children sees it. All these are signs that things has happened. You do not need to go through FGM. It is not important for you to circumcise a female child. It is It is not good. You don't need to do that anymore. I know some of us, our parents told us, if you don't do this, then the child become promiscuous. It's a lie. Lie from the pit of hell. So they don't do that anymore. Anybody that is caught circumcising a female child, that person will go in for it. There is no excuse. The person will go in for it. There's another one called the private fostering. Private fostering does not include a close relative. So, for example, you're going away on holiday, you leave your child to your grandparents, the auntie or the uncle or your sisters or your brother or step parent is okay. However, if you leave your child with someone else for more than 28 consecutive days, that is private fostering. That is what they call it, private fostering. So if you know you're going to be doing that, be careful. Be very, very careful traveling and leaving your child with people that are not family. If they find out, it is private fostering and it is not allowed. It is not allowed. Schools have a duty of care to report you to the necessary authority. So let's please be mindful of that. Now, and before I hand over, this is going to be the next speaker's forte because she's a social worker. Now, before you think, oh, I didn't do much and they just took the child from me. No, it doesn't work like that. There is a high and a low threshold. The school wants to actually work with parents to ensure that whatever is the issue is nipped in the bud before it even escalates. So there are stages to it. Prevention, where you're still working with the school are trying to converse with you, they're trying to talk to you, they're trying to, communicate with you. You need to work with the school. If you know things are not going where your child is being bullied, write a letter. Really avoid yelling in your child's school. No matter what they will say to you, please don't yell, don't shout at them, don't. Talk to people in a civilized way. No matter how provoked you are, send emails because sometimes things get misconstrued when emotions keep flying, okay? There is the early help the child in need even before you get to the social workers. So there are stages to this. I'm going to stop my presentation here. If there is any question, remember, now that you've immigrated or you want to immigrate, there are loads of opportunities where you're working a lot. Sometimes it affects our mental health as an adult because we are stressed out, or sometimes we're even burned out, or we're at the edge of being burned out, that we are tired. When you're tired, you do not present things well, you do not react well, you become easily irritated. Yes, I know parents, we go through that. There is a lot, but I just want to remind you, self-care is a conscious and deliberate choice to do something. Plug into the right community. There is a community that I've set up, and I know other community. If you want to plug into them, I can send you the link. Nobody's going to be sending you WhatsApp every minute, but it's just to ensure that if you have any questions, if you need any support, you'll be able to draw strength from that network, ask questions, ask the right questions. So when you're new to a new place, don't separate yourself, don't isolate yourself. Be with those that are in the same journey with you or those that have been through that journey. Always remember to ask them for support. Ask them questions. No question is silly. So remember, when there are 1,000 things to do, sharing these unrushed moments, make room in your heart for them. There will be many mountains to climb, but always make time to find the pastures where you can rest. So parents, I urge you all today, find time to rest. We all want to make the pounds, but please do find time to rest so that you look after your child, you parent your child from a place of rest, from a place where we are rejuvenated. Thank you so much. Any other questions, please drop it in the chat. We'll look after it later. I'm going to stop sharing now, and I am going to yield the mic to my other speaker. But before I go, if you have any questions, please type it. We are going to go through it at the end of the session. Also, kindly drop in the comment section the things that stood out for you in the short presentation that I just did. Thank you all so much for listening. And I will yield the mic to Mrs. Adesua. But before I do, let me quickly read. Let me read her profile. Oh God, where did I put it now? Oh, the profile is in the other phone, sis. I'm so sorry, but I'm just going to quickly introduce her. She is a social worker. So She knows these are the people that a lot of you are scared of. Please, she's here today as one of us. She's here today as one of us to tell us things on how to get the best when you're working with the schools or working with the social workers. I hope none of you have any opportunities to work with social workers. I hope this will prevent it. So, sis, I'm going to yield the mic to you. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to other parents. I believe I'm going to just start with what you said. The people you are afraid of, that again is a lie, because it's one of those things that people say that are not true. People tend to label or stereotype the social workers that they are strategically placed to just take children from people. And I've seen some videos on YouTube with people saying the government, they just strategize, they want to take their children and things like that. That is not true. I will start with this angle. First of all, the local government, they are struggling for places to keep children. So taking your child from you will be the last resort. They want to work with family to make sure they ensure the safeguarding of children, that your child is safe, that you are doing the best you can for your child. So they are not set up to take your children from you. It's a common saying, but it's a lie. So I will start with most of the areas. Abiasona did very well. She's done that presentation, which cover most of the area. Funny enough, in my own note, I put safeguarding and discipline as well. But I'm going to come right from the areas that we have seen most of our families integrating from abroad, coming in and integrating into UK, where they are having challenges, the area they are having issues. And the first area is the area of language barrier. What do I mean by this? We speak English in Nigeria, we speak English here, yes. But the words that we use, they are quite different. I would say, if you can tell your child, if you can use your pidgin language, if you touch that thing again, I will beat you. And you just say it, and the child is, they can just behave themselves. But if you tell that to a child here that is going into school, is already getting used to the system, they take that word literally. She talked about you kind of threatening the child, and you think that you are trying to make the child recognize your authority. If you touch that thing, I will teach you that I'm your mother. If you touch that thing, there are things you throw threats to these children, and they go back home, they talk. Children talk easily. How was your weekend? How is your dad? How is your mom? What did you do today? And they will tell them verbally what happened. And from there, concerns are raised. And when the teacher or the class teaching assistant has concern, they have that duty of care to speak to you, to find out, ascertain what is happening. Because what every practice in the UK, especially with social works and teaching, is evidence-based practice. So before you can escalate an issue, there should be evidence to point to say, okay, what I'm saying is right, is correct. That's why you cannot do speculation. So they would talk to you to know, to establish what is happening. And most time, this is where the language and cultural barrier comes in. And most of our parents, especially the ones that already have this stereotype, they are not comfortable with the other side, or they're not comfortable being asked questions. They raise the barrier. And this barrier, they come out being very, very aggressive. What do you mean? What do you think? You say I'm not looking after my. Do you know that I have the best of my children at, and they go very argumentative, quarrelsome, and raise voices. Yeah, we speak, we don't shout. We talk and we dialogue. What you know is you don't understand. You talk, you make the other person to understand. By the time you shout, you will be labeled that you are aggressive. And when a teacher is uncomfortable with you because of the tone of your voice or your presentation, they are uncomfortable with you. They still have that duty of care to escalate it and say, okay, this is what the children are saying. I spoke to the parents, and this is what I gathered. Remember, I told you it's evidence-based practice. And from there, that can be escalated and say, okay, they can contact the council and say, we are worried about this child. And that is when the child can be allocated. And most times, it depends on how busy. It might be a care navigator that will go, or a social worker and say, okay, go and speak to this family, make a visit, find out the environment, see how the environment is, see if there is any evidence of neglect, if there is any sign of abuse, if there's anything else going on in the home. And then they can now call to visit you. Again, your approach, your language, these are the things, your body language, they are washing out. Please, I know that we most of all, I came from Nigeria, and I don't know where other people are coming from in the other parts of Africa. I know how extravagant we can be, and how that we tend to really talk and all those things, and the way we just present ourselves. We are very confident, I know, but if we can tone it down a bit and make ourselves to be heard, rather than we just feel that they have to hear you by force. So our language is very, very important. So when they come to your house and you're like, your own is finished, you have come to my house, you can't take my child from me. Do you know what it means for me to come from there? And you come here, I want the best. No, I'm not going to. Come on, you've just escalated issues. And at that point, they can call the police, and that can take that case from the very bottom, something that was a consign, and raise it up to safeguarding, which can trigger your child being removed and kept in a place safe until they get to the bottom of the matter. So you can see that in the nutshell, this was not the intention. It was the response of the parents that escalated the issue and took it to another dimension. If a child call you, a school ring you or invite and say, can we just have a minute with you? Can we see you in school, your child, because of some concerns? Of course, all you need to do is to go. What's the concerns? What's the matter? And they will explain to you. You explain yourself the best way you can by not implicating yourself. If they say, oh, the child said you are beating them, or that you have been hitting them, because that's the word they will use. They won't use beats. You've been hitting the child, or they said you're using something on them or whatever. You can say, first of all, oh, really? Is that what they said? Oh no, where we come from, rather than you say where we come from, children, we beat children there, so it's accepted. No, please don't go that route. You can explain to them, oh, sometimes they can be naughty. I try as much as possible to discipline them. But again, I know that I'm not allowed to use anything that is not accepted. No, I won't do that. And you just explain. There's a way you will talk to them and explain. And they're like, okay, they have concerns, but this is it. They might educate you further. And that's it. And that's it. Most times, they don't have to escalate it. Depends on you now. Most of all, she talked about relationship with teachers. Most of all drop our children. You don't even come out from the car. You just drop them. Bye. You don't go to them, like even follow them inside the school. What does that show? Because actions speak a lot. It means you don't even care. You don't even care because anything can happen between there and when the child gets in. If they see you are coming to parent evening, how do you present when you come to parent evening? Do you have questions ready you want to ask the teachers? Are you genuinely concerned about your child? I don't want to repeat those things she has said, like the dressing and things like that, the children being presentable. You need to let the school kind of the teacher, if they know your personality and they know you, most times they will even be the one to say, no, I don't believe that parent can't do that. They will want to speak to you, but before then they already have that. But because of our unconscious bias, because most time we feel that others discriminate against us, we are the one that discriminate against ourselves. We are not acceptable. We build a barrier and we feel that we label them we. And you feel, oh, it's because my child is black. No. Once you begin to do that, you begin to put that identity, there will be issues because there are cases where you should deal with clarity. You will not. You will deal with it from the side of unconscious bias because there's that bias there already. That's number one that get people into trouble. And number two, if your child is being bullied in school and you ask your child, maybe somebody used, I will use an example. My child, a child used language in a class, and this child did not say it directly to my child, but said it to her friend, and the friend came to tell her that this is what this person said about you, and she was like, okay, because at least they've been told at home and they are aware. She went to report to the teacher, and the issue was being investigated. But when she got home, she told me as well. But she was able to tell me because she had that opportunity to talk to me. Every time they come back from school, while I'm bringing them back, how was your day? What did you do today? What did you have for lunch? Who did you play with today? And with that, when you ask this question, it opens up your children to express themselves to you. And then you'll be able to have a discussion with them. So when she told me, I was like, okay, really? Did you hear him say it? No, but this other child heard him. And I told the teacher, and they said they are going to investigate. I said, no problem. The next day, I went to school. I requested to speak to the head teacher. She gave me audience, and I told her, I've got concerns. What are my concerns? It's look, this is what was alleged, because we didn't hear it. Is still an allegation. This is what was alleged, that this child said this, and what are you doing about it? The head teacher apologized, told me, yeah, they are working on it, they are doing investigation. Do I want to be informed of every, step, as they carry out? I say, yes, of course, I want to. Okay, this is what they're going to do, this is what they're going to do. I said, okay, that's fine. If this is what you intend to achieve for a better outcome, I would like the parents of this child to be involved as well. Because apart from us being us dealing with it here, I want to find out, what kind of things is he listening to? How did they come about this? If at all he said it, if at the end of the day it's established that this child said this. So the parents were informed. And at the end of the day, they carried me, they sent email, they did everything. They called, they apologized. The child parents apologized, everything and all that, but they didn't stop there. They end up calling a group to come in and educate the children about different culture, different colors, different, everything. And that again was good. And they even asked me, do I want to come? Is there anything I want to come and do? I said, no, I didn't want to come to school and speak because I don't want to spotlight my child. That's fine if some other people come in. So that is a way. But if I went to school and I started shouting and raking, this child, daddy, I want to, come on, you're not going to get anywhere. you're going to get this label for your own self, because they are going to think that you're troublesome. You are, you are ranting about something that is not established yet. So you can see the language, the choice of words that you use is very, very important. That's dealing with abuse or racism in school. Then, if the third one that is so prevalent is for leaving children at home by themselves. I've had people call our consultancy and they ask, oh, I want to come in school. I want to come and work. I have 2 children. I have 3 children. Oh, no, my eldest is 13 or 14. He can look after the younger ones. No, it's a no. If you're coming to the United Kingdom and you want to come on school or you want to come and study, the most important thing you would do on your list is to sort out childcare. Because if you don't sort out childcare, that has the power to crumble every other thing that you want to come and do. It will unravel your plans. That people will come to the bare minimum and they can even be jailed. So if you want to come and school or work and you know that you don't have plans of who will look after your child, then you are not ready to make that journey yet. Because a child that is from 0 to 12 to 18 years, they cannot be left at home by themselves overnight. They cannot be left at home by themselves overnight, except there is guidance. There is someone that is watching over them, and that person has to be 18 and above. A responsible adult watching over them. Now, from between 12 and 16, 18 can be left at home for few hours by themselves unsupervised, but for few hours unsupervised. And the reason why that is few hours is that if there be danger, will they be able to manage it? But then there is a twist again. If you leave a 12, 13, 14 years, 15 years at home to look after a baby that is below 12, you can't do that. Because those should be under the supervision of an adult. Because they are not adults yet. So you can leave them just for a few hours. You say you want to go to the shop and come by here, that's fine. But for you to now leave them overnight, if for any reason someone called and that child answered the call, first of all, they're going to ask, where's your dad, where's your mom? And you say, no, daddy and mommy, they are not at home. I'm just here. That will be straight. They are going to escalate that straight away. Because even if the child is taller than me, the child is tall, is tall and all those things look like adults, it doesn't matter. It's the age that counts. I know back home, that's why I said cultural difference. Back home is okay, but here it's not. It's not. Overnight, especially, people go for shift work, they will lift you and say they're just sleeping. Before they wake up and all that, then I'm fine. I should be able. No. Those are the things that are happening, that most of our nurses and people working in shift patterns, they're having a lot of issues. It's because of this situation. You can't leave your child overnight. That is safeguarding, because there might be a fire. Anything could have happened. How do you expect those children to cope? That can even get you into trouble with your own career, because it can be established that you intentionally left the children to harm, because anything can happen. Again, we are talking about evidence-based. So these are the things you cannot do here. We need to be informed. We need to be aware. There are ways to discipline our children. There are ways to talk to them. The Lord did not say we shouldn't discipline them and just leave them. There are ways we can achieve this. You can speak to them. We can talk to them. How many hours can you leave them during the day for the child? Like maybe if you have a 12-year-old, you want to leave a 10-year-old with a 12-year-old, you can see the age gap. And the two of those children, to me, I don't think it will even be safe for you to leave them for more than 2 hours, 3 hours, honestly. Because within those 2, 3 hours, anything can they handle it? So those are the things we are saying. And sometimes we have neighbors that are very good. They are washing. They know how many people are living in the house. They know when the dad drove off. They know when the mom drove off, and they didn't see the children. Most time they will be the one that will call. They will consign neighbor. They will just call. So they are washing. So you will not know. You don't even know that they are. Or somebody rang the bell and the child came to answer the door. So these are the things we should take note of, especially those, school runs, doing this and trying to cover things. I know it can be challenging, but here it is real. It's not that these people want to take your child away. It's just that we have got things in, we've got a workable system here. The teachers are very observant. They are watching. And we have a system in place that works. So that system is in place, is there, is policies. They are following those policies and guidelines, not to spite anyone, but it's in place. And it's not just for African parents, it's for everybody. So those guidelines are there to guide everyone. So if you look at the percentage of children that is in care, you will find out that we don't even have the highest. But I'm just trying to say that stereotype thing that, oh, they are just setting us up to take it. No, please. You keep your act together, put things together, get things work out, put things together, do the right thing. I know we want to make money, not at the expense of your children. If you know that you cannot work at childcare, sometimes mom will come, dad will go back, and how will you cope? Have you thought of it? You tend to figure out everything, accommodation, work, but what about the children? So yeah, they are our responsibility and they are the government's responsibility. We are coming from country that the children are just our responsibility. The government is not their business. But yeah, the children are the government children. And if you don't do what you have to do, then they will tell you they are going to exercise that parental guidance over those children. So it is not about you, it's not about me, it's about the child. And for that child to be safeguarded. So we need to put our house in order and make sure we do the right thing at the right time. So with those areas, I think I might leave room for questions. If there are any questions, then I can come in and just, address them. But those are the areas that are like no government is setting you up. Please, that is a lie. People are just saying it to defend it. They have done something. Ask them the question and they will tell you. But most time they don't say what they've done. They just, they want to take my child from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you know you've appreciated, that nugget that she just dropped with us, please appreciate her in the chat section. Thank you so much, Mrs. Aniswa Kachuku Korunkwo. We appreciate We appreciate your time. We really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much. So please, like we can see about 33 people here, including myself and her. So about 31. Thank you. Khadija said thank you. Lots of people are saying thank you. Sophia said thank you. Thank you for thanking her. So please, let's send some appreciation, because at the end of the day, I tell you what, like I was telling you, we thank you very much. Bash said thank you very much. Is always very good. I believe that if you look at other communities, the Jewish community, the Asian community, you see that they are flourishing a lot. But we Africans, there are different things that we're doing. A lot of us, we've got wealth of knowledge in different departments. All we need to do is just to come together and just share this information, leverage on it as people share with you, because nobody is paying her, nobody's paying me to do this. I just prayed about it because I'm tired of people just coming to cry. I cannot do anything because it is out of my hand. I can't do anything. It's already too late. So I prayed about it, and God just said, why don't you just do something about it before it even escalates. And here we are today. So if you find it is on my YouTube page at Abia. So I drop it on. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, I really do not have the time to be sending messages always. That group is going to be used to send information. During the week, it's going to be locked. If you need to send the message urgently, you can send it directly to my number or to any other person that is going to be willing to be an admin. During the weekend, then you can ask questions, because at the end of the day, no one is an island of his or herself. So the link has been dropped in the chat box. So now it's time. We've got about 15 minutes to take questions. If you have any question, I believe you me, no question is silly. No question is like, I'm not even sure. If you have any question, you need to ask now, because there are some questions that you will not be able to find on Google, right? So you go and Google it, what do I do? You will not find it there. So you've got people that have got experiences now in this field. Ask your question, 15 minutes. So there are 2 questions already. Thank you so much, BC. Let me scroll up. So this one, can you see any question? Someone's so astonishing. Antonia said, thank you. Can't expect less from sister from another mother. You've got loads of your fans, yes. Where is the question? I can't see it. Oh, can you see it from your
It's
end?
talking about how many hours can you leave the child at home if
Okay.
the government, when it came to this area, they left it blankets. But what they have said, what the government have said, the law, it said it is an offense to leave a child alone if it places them at risk.
Mhm.
If it places them at risk, that again is something that will now, if you have to take it to court, how will you now? And I believe if they look at the house, they will be able to locate a lot of things that they would term as risk. They are looking at the electricity is there, the gas, fire, anything can happen. So if they won't stay, they didn't state it, and that to me, I think is intentional. They just did that. So it's not left for you to know how to judge this. So what do? You play safe. Play safe. It's better safe than to be sorry. Play safe.
Absolutely. So also if you run out of gas,
The
especially
bare
during the winter
minimum
time.
age that you can leave a child at home, the bare
Oh,
minimum age that you can leave them at home by themselves is from 12. You can't leave them for a few hours from 12-year-old because they're already in high school. You can leave them because they can walk back from school by themselves as well. They can walk back and come home, and you can leave them for a few hours, or just few hours, not overnight, because they are not 18 yet. If you know that you are not going to be in the building overnight, you need adult supervision. Thank you.
thank you so much. And also I know the gas bills have gone up recently, and the electricity and all of that stuff. But please do really prioritize your finances in such a way that you are able to provide the basic need for your child. Because if your child is not getting the right heat in, especially during the cold season, and they end up, God forbid, with any illness in the hospital, pneumonia, and the rest of them, you are going to be answering some questions, right? So please, let's just ensure. I know things are, very challenging for some people right now, but we need to be careful. 11 years old, as well as some children are in high
Yes.
school from
Yeah,
absolutely
from high
11.
school. Yeah, we'll just be
Yeah.
safe and safe from high school. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, apart from high school, some children, they are in year 11 years old, but they are still very childish. So
Very
the
small.
onus is on you for you to determine, is this child, even though he's 11, is 12 years old, is this child sensible enough to be left alone by his or herself for a few hours? So the judgment is on you. So you need to decide that. So it's very important that we do not just hear these things you've taken. We've invested about 1 hour and some minutes in this discussion today. You do not just come in here to listen, but please also apply what it is that you've learned. Apply it. It is so important. I really do not want to hear stories that touches the heart again, where people are crying. People are, it's not Nigeria where person, no connection. Connection ain't gonna get you out of here once you're in the bondage stew in this place. So please, let's stay away from that and just focus on creating a better life for ourselves and for our children. If there is no more question, we are just going to end this session. Also, I'm hoping on bringing pardon. Oh, Antonia, and astonishing Antonia, please, can you unmute? I do apologize.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll just try to thank you for today, for the invite. I'm very grateful. I just want to share this experience of mine. It's something very few people knew that happened to me, because it was a traumatic season for me. Rick Warren said that we are all shaped in different ways. And he talked about shape as SHAPE. So the S is spiritual, the H is your heart, the A is your abilities, the P is your personality, and the E is your experience. So I'm sharing from my experience. On the 9th of December, 2017, it was a very windy day, very snowy day. I've got 2 boys. At that point in time, one was, I think it was 5, and the other one was almost 2. And so I wanted to go to school. I haven't started driving. I think I got to United Kingdom then, maybe like 2 years. I'm a doctor. So I just got registered with GMC, and I haven't started working. So I've not started driving. So I had problems with moving up and down, especially we just moved from where we used to live, which was very close to the school. So on that day, I thought of, just getting a taxi, because it was very snowy, and my second boy, he's got very sensitive skin. So I didn't want to expose him to the snow on that day. So I said, and he was sleeping. So I said, let me just leave him for a few minutes. I'll get the cab. I'll, go get his brother, and then I'll come back home. So, and the way cab is, I got there on time, I got to school on time, but because it was a bad weather, getting back home it took a long time. I kept calling the taxi man, and they said, sorry, you have to wait in about 20 minutes, all that. So I was getting very agitated. I can't wait. So I had to take the bus. And the bus is going to also take a long, long time. I'm sharing this experience because I want people to learn from what I went through. So I went and I got into the bus with my older child, and then he got home. My youngest child at that time, he was sleeping when I left, but he woke up, and because he didn't see anybody, he opened the door, went out of the house. He was on the street, and then someone saw him and then took him to my neighbor. And because we just moved to that environment, I don't know that neighbor of mine. We don't really know each other. So it was my neighbor that called the police. So the police came. I was just getting, to the front of the house, and then I saw like 4 cars from the police. And I was like, what is going on here? my head started ringing. I knew some, and then I got in. I saw like 6, 7 policemen and women in my house. And I saw that they were asking the baby, were asking him questions. He was still very small. He couldn't really talk. So they took, not that they took, but the way they do now. So they were speaking with the one I brought from school, asking questions. I couldn't even concentrate on what they were asking him. So many things were going through my mind. So at that point in time, I didn't know what to say. I was scared. So many things were going through my mind. And then my husband came. And then, so obviously they escalated the whole thing. Social worker got involved and all that. And I had to contact my pastor at that point in time. This is happening. I told my pastor about it. They were extremely supportive. And we went through that. And the social worker came and said, what happened? I explained everything that happened to them. And they had to notify GMC. That's my board. So they had to notify them. And then I think it was the February 13th, 2018. I had to go to the police, and then they had to take my DNA. So they took DNA from my mouth. I'm a doctor, so I understood all that they were doing. But it was a traumatic period for me. So they took my saliva, took everything, because they're going to keep those things, my fingerprints, everything. They're going to keep it for 5 years. So it was there. And they didn't take my child away from me. To God be the glory. They did it. But it took a conscious effort not to develop hatred that they wanted me to for that child. And that child looks so much like me. Those that know me, they know the person I'm talking about. He looks so much like me. And what happened between, the time that, and so when I apply for a job, it flags off that I've got child neglect. So I was given a simple caution for child neglect. And that lasted, it lasted 3 years, or it lasted 5 years, being the fact that they will keep all my, details and all that. So when I apply for a job, it goes off. And then people ask me, oh, what happened? And then you have to recount, that over and over again. See, it took God. When God says, when you walk through, the fire, you will not be burnt. When you pass through the waters, you will not be drowned. That was the scripture I held on to, because I alone knew exactly what I was going through at that point in time. So if we are not shaped to just be on our own. You need other people. And what did I learn from there? I learned that you need to know your neighbor. Number one, you need a robust relationship with your neighbors. Now I've learned from my mistakes. My neighbor to the right, to the left, or the back, and the front, everybody's my friend. Everybody's my friend. And having that, not isolating yourself, and like we have heard, not trying to say, oh, maybe it's because of my color. No, everybody is there to help you. But last year, and that was when my name was taken off, everything was discarded. I just want to encourage someone here. See, you get things wrong. If anybody is in my position, or I don't want you to be there, but please learn from me. Learn from me. It was a traumatic experience for me. And I know that there is nothing we go through in life. We go through in life. Somebody said, learn why you are going through it. And that was what I did. I learned from it. And I'm bigger and better today. I didn't lose my license to practice as a doctor. I'm doing fine. My family is doing fine. I have another baby already. And we are doing very fine. But it was because I had someone keeping my back, looking after me. And that is God. I went through those years with him. And today I'm bigger and better. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to share this.
Wow, Sister Antonia, you are really astonishing. Thank you so much for being vulnerable with us. That is some deep stuff you've just shared. I just want to celebrate you. I just want to appreciate you. Please, everybody here, she deserves a celebration. She didn't have to share that with us. She did not have to share that with us. She's just relived her experience to help someone. Someone needed to hear that. That was why God allowed her to share it. Thank you so much. God bless you, sis. I really appreciate you. Sister Deswa, you have your hand up. You are muted, sis.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, astonishing Antonia. That was wonderful. I'm so glad that you shared that experience, but I'm glad as well that that 5 years is gone, is over, and God kept you. This is the reality of what we're talking about. You can see what we are saying. You can, if you want to talk about statues and all that, Antonia is a medical doctor. They didn't take exception to that and say because she's a medical doctor, okay, they are going to, like what we do back home, they are going to just, no, we should just, no. The law is there for everyone. It's to guide everyone. It's safeguarding. That can happen somewhere where there is no law and the child will just go. And the child can even be kidnapped. Nobody knows. Nobody is listening. But yeah, safeguarding is everyone's business. It's everyone's responsibility. Why I raised my hand up is what she mentioned at the end, that know your neighbor. Africans, we can be so in, and yet we point the fingers. We don't say hi to the next person or the other person. My neighbor is elderly. She goes for a walk and she takes my children with her. Elderly British woman. My other neighbor, up to the last, everyone on the street, all of them, we know them all. We give them Christmas card. When we have something to say, we go and drop the house, then they want cake. We give them. Know your neighbors. Be friendly. Let them know you. Those are the things why you are already in the system. Don't just be by yourself and by yourself alone. You are looking for the only Black person you will see in your child's school gates. That's the only person you will greet. What about the next person? You don't say hello to them. They don't say hello to you, but you say hello to them. If you want to be friendly, make yourself friendly as well. Say hello to them. Say hi. Please, we have to. This is the environment you find yourself. And if you want to integrate very well, please make yourself friendly. Thank you so much for sharing, Antonia. I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you so much, Sister Adesua, for your contribution that you just sealed it for us. A lot of comments, learned a lot from knowing your neighbor part. It's so important to know amount of money that you are going to make. We change that. So know your neighbor. So people want to make loads of money, then you are not prioritizing your childcare. Seriously, it's so important that you prioritize your childcare. I'm counseling people right now that their children, due to the abuse, might put your child in any out places. Please, that's another point. Don't put your child, today is A that is looking after them, tomorrow is B. Please don't do that. Find a stable childcare for your child, because when a child is abused, there's a situation that I had to support someone through a few months ago where it was so bad, the child was being abused. The mother did not know because she herself was going through domestic abuse. That child resorted to maladaptive behavior, coping with the best way he knew, which was alcohol. He became alcoholic when he was a young adult, and that child passed because he had enlarged heart. So imagine, now that she's supposed to be enjoying the fruits of her labor, there is money there, there is a house there, there is everything there, she's living well. But it was for a price. Was it worth it at the end? No. So yes, you may have to pay a little bit more for that childcare. You may have to know someone, have a steady community of support. I'm always big on that. You can't live on your own. So please, don't come into the country looking for a system without a system. Build a system for yourself. Be part of the system. Do unto others what you want them to do unto you. Please, the pounds will fade, but your child's life cannot be repaired once it's down that road. That woman cried. I was counseling her through bereavement. She regrets. She regrets so much. I wish I could have done that. I wish. That's all she mostly share. The child is gone. A young man. What happened as a teenager escalated as a young adult, and he died. So children are being washed. There are people, child trafficking, that is going on. There are people that are selling drugs, using children for trafficking drugs, sexual exploitation. There are so many things that are going on. No amount of pounds is worth sacrificing or mortgaging the life of your children. So please, I have a lot of things to do at this time, but this one is a message and it has been delivered. I'm going to be bringing, I think I saw Sister Viola, you had your hand up. Is it a contribution or a question? Please, I'll yield the mic to you.
God, thank you very much, Sister Sonia, Sister Adesua. I don't know, can anyone hear me?
Loudly, yes.
Yeah, so this is just a contribution about know your neighbor, and just to, just re-emphasize it, because I have like an experience. So where we stay, the two direct neighbors on our right, from day one they've been friendly, but there's one on our left, mature couple, they stay alone, they hadn't been friendly at all. But from day one, we just encouraged, even our son, to make sure he greets them. And you know how children can greet under their breath. We'll say, no, say it loud, let them hear you. And they wouldn't respond, but we kept on doing it. We've been here for almost 4 years. We kept on doing it. We just kept at it, and everything. And last Christmas, we saw a gift on our door, and we're wondering, where did this come from? And we looked, and because we didn't even know their names, it was from them, and like a card and everything. So what I'm just trying to say is that sometimes we're quick to sometimes play our racism card and everything, but sometimes let's just be, intentional and don't stop. They will come around, and all that. So it's very important to know your neighbors. The way they live here is different from the way we live in Nigeria. And so sometimes when you're warming up to them, it will take them some time, but they will definitely, nobody runs away from love. When you continue to give, one day they will definitely open their hands to receive. So that's what I just wanted to add.
Wow, I love that part. Nobody runs away from love. Love will open any door. Love will open any door. Thank you so much, Sister Viola, for that wonderful contribution. There's another hand, Bash B. Is it a question or a contribution? I'll yield my mic to you.
Thank you. And thank you so much to yourself, Abby, to Adesua, mostly to Astonishing Antonia. Like, you have blessed all of us. And I know it came at a cost of recollecting all that you went through. So it's a big thank you to you for doing for us what you did not have to do. And what I'm about to share is when Viola talked about the neighbor who seemed not to be connecting, reminded me of my own experience. And so something I have always done, so I'm not in Nigeria now, but I did grow up in Nigeria, and I remember how my parents would always ensure that every Eid, because we're Muslim, every Eid we would take food to the neighbors around, So when I got here, it was like, okay, let me find a small way. So like the kid's birthday, I would send cupcakes, whether you say hi, you don't say hi. And then I moved into a building that has generally older people, most of them very pleasant. But there was this one particular neighbor on my floor whose name I didn't even know, because I walked past them. I wasn't even sure if they were residents because they won't smile, they won't say hello. But every Christmas, I would dole out lip balm or hand cream. You know how the winters can be very... So I'm like, okay, at least everybody can use lip balm, everybody can use hand cream. And if they don't like it, they can gift it to somebody else. And every winter I would drop something on their door. And I was very pleasantly surprised, just like Viola, when this last winter I found a gift from names that I couldn't recognize with chocolates for my kids. And I looked at them and I was like, who is this person? And I saw the name of the unit. I was like, oh, is this when I called them? I was like, come, this is their name. And I was like, wow. And after that, every time they saw me, they would say hello. So just buttressing what Viola is saying is, don't take whatever it is that you're seeing as the physical response as an indication of what they're feeling in their minds. Not all of them are built the way we are built, where we're very exuberant in our welcome and affection. Sometimes they're just not, first, sometimes they're not even used to it because people don't reach out to them that way, so they don't know how to respond. But that investment of good nature and cheer and just a smile, you never know what it is that, you never know what seed you're planting, and you never know how you're going to get the benefit of it, or your children will get the benefit of it in the future. So now I'm living in a place where I know that, okay, if anything goes wrong with my children, I'll be the first person to hear about it, not the authorities, for example. And it's just because of all this seed planting, expecting nothing in return. there is nothing to lose by being a good neighbor, not a naive neighbor, but by being a good neighbor. There's nothing to be lost with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. There is nothing to be lost. You know, that seed planted. Thank you so much, Bash, for that wonderful contribution as well. Also, remember your school teachers, your children's teacher, when you are giving those gift outs, card. You don't have to buy a gift if you don't have. A simple card at the end of the term. Thank you, teacher. They are everywhere right now. Summer is coming to an end. Christmas time, Easter time. Send them a card and just appreciate them for investing in your child. I know you don't pay their school fees, but at least a simple courtesy to say thank you will go a long, long way. That why you have your hand up. So I will just yield the mic to you.
I think you've just mentioned one of the things that, I like the fact that different people have buttressed on the area of the neighbor. And again, to remind us why we are really having this discussion is that it is important for us to have good relationship with those around us, the neighbors, the school teacher, and every other person, because I talked about evidence-based at the beginning. For any reason, there is any reason for investigation. Those are the people that might just give good reports, that we make sure that the safeguarding did not progress. So like being substantiated and all that, because they've given good recommendation for you. Your neighbor spoke highly. They went to her, they said, oh no, we've got no concern. Those are wonderful couple. They look after those children. And they come to speak, the school teacher is saying, no, we've got no concern. They look after their children. They are very committed. They engage with us. They care about the children and all that. So these are the people that at the end of the day, they will still go back to gather those evidence from. So it is very, very important for us to keep our circle of network, really with good relationship. The neighbor, the school teacher, a card to say thank you will go a long way. So let us make ourselves relationable. We should be able to relate with others. Some of us, like I said before, we are the ones that we play that racism card a lot, but we ourselves, we are not that open to integrating to other culture. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was supposed to be a 1 hour segment, but I'm glad we spent about 1 hour and 30 something minutes. I've got about 2 more sessions. I don't know when, but if you've registered for this event, I will send the email. A lot of you are working, or you came with a work visa. You really don't know much about the working law. I've got a lawyer, is an employment lawyer that I'm going to be bringing to speak to you on what to do so that you don't get taken advantage of. Then if you've got disabled children as well, I've got a network of people that I'm going to bring as well that will speak to you, because there's a lot of stigma with that when people have disabled children. There are loads of support around that you can tap into and leverage on. But one thing I would say, I've dropped the WhatsApp link if you want to join, and please just so when I talk about special children, disabled children, ADHD, autism. So I'm going to bring people so I can share that information, and it will be on YouTube so you can tap into it. So thank you all so much for being here. Sister BC, I can see you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you, ma'am. I celebrate you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. My YouTube channel is Abia Sonia. I'm just going to type it here. I'll put it here, and my social media, if you type Abia Sonia, you should be able to find me on my social media handle. Thank you all so much for joining today. This is on YouTube. It was broadcast live on YouTube, so you can go and share it with as much people, because I really don't want to recap all of this over and over again. Thank you all so much, and God bless you. Take care.